for President Trump, this really is a rare retreat, conceding in his showdown with the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who had blocked him from delivering his State of the Union address until after the government reopens. The president, in a tweet sent just before midnight, acknowledging Pelosi's power here in Washington. It's a symbolic win for Democrats, even as the stalemate over the shutdown drags on. Overnight, President Trump blinking in his State of the Union stare down with Nancy Pelosi. The president writing in a late-night tweet, "I will do the address when the shutdown is over. I am not looking for an alternative venue for the State of the Union address because there is no venue that can compete with the history, tradition, and importance of the House chamber." Pelosi responding with a measured tweet of her own, encouraging the president to end the shutdown and reopen the government. Earlier in the day, President Trump, in a letter to Pelosi, dismissing her request to delay the address, saying he would give the speech on time, on schedule, and very importantly, on location. Pelosi firing back, telling the president she wouldn't authorize his address in the House chamber as originally planned. The president appearing caught off guard by the news, delivered by NBC.
Your response to the House Speaker?
I'm not surprised. It's really a shame what's happening with the Democrats. They've become radicalized.
President Trump later lashing out at the speaker.
The State of the Union speech has been canceled by Nancy Pelosi because she doesn't want to hear the truth. She's afraid of the truth. I think that's a great blotch on the incredible country that we all love.
But for the president, backlash is building, his approval rating now dropping to 34%, its lowest level in more than a year, with most Americans blaming him for the shutdown. Unpaid federal workers converging on the Capitol, protesters arrested outside Mitch McConnell's office, and 5 former heads of the Department of Homeland Security, including the president's former chief of staff, John Kelly, writing a letter to the president and to Congress urging them to fund the department to ensure our homeland remains safe. The letter following a new report that details the first-hand accounts of FBI agents, warning the shutdown is undermining criminal, counterterrorism, and counterintelligence operations. And this morning, the White House is bracing for this shutdown to stretch into February, even into March. Officials here asking agency leaders to give them a list of programs that could be impacted if this shutdown lasts for weeks more. Savannah and Hoda?
Well, Peter, there are a couple of votes today planned. I mean, do they have any chance at all? Is this just posturing? What is this about?
Well, you're right. The Senate is set, as you know, to vote on these dueling bills. Both are expected to fail, but there are some small signs here, I think, of some progress. I think the question is, will it be enough? House Democrats right now are preparing a new offer, funding what they describe as a smart wall with at least $5.7 billion for border security. Remember, that's the number the president is asking for, but here it would come in the form of more technology, border agents, and judges. No new wall. So is it enough? We'll have to wait and see.